Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time to help you understand the technical side of the real estate industry. And today is a show all about for people who are new to real estate and really the real estate education process. And so let me tell you where we're coming from with this here. So back when I was going to school and, this big and everything like that and telling your teacher, the career counselors, all that other stuff, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't remember a single person out there saying a realtor. So I think we've got to get on the lobbying efforts to somehow get kids to want to be realtors. But I think a lot of people are taught, you got to go to school and you got to go to some university, some sort of college. And for certain careers, that is necessary. However, for a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you that what they invested in their education, they don't feel like they've gotten a return on that. And there's all kinds of studies and statistics and so on and so forth. But if you really think about it, investing 4 years of your life, 5 years, 6 years, 7, 8 years, how many years of schooling it may take for whatever career path it is you're trying to get down, that's a lot of time that you'll never get back, let alone the money. The money alone, the cost alone to go to school for that long, and also the idea of graduating, of basically being done learning, that's a whole sham as well, because you're never done learning. So I don't want to go too much of an attack of the traditional education system, but compared to going to school for 4 years to go get some sort of average level of salary or income or something like that, compared to you come down to us and you give us a few $100s in a week of your time and you get this exam passed, and it's going to be a lifelong learning process, don't get me wrong. But the income potential is unlimited, and you don't have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars or really even thousands of dollars to get started in real estate. Compared to what it costs to start any other career that requires education, especially the big, 4-year school type of deal. If you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be some sort of attorney, some sort of technical thing where you do need, if I go to the doctor, I don't want somebody that took a 1-week crash course on how to be a doctor. But that's different. That's, life and death. And real estate is pretty serious too, but it's not life and death. And we've got a lot more time than, say, maybe a surgeon has to fix your heart before you die of a heart attack or some crazy thing that could happen. So we do need doctors. We do need attorneys. We do need people in these professions that take these long education periods to be certified as whatever it is that they're trying to be. However, we don't need everybody to be a doctor. We don't need everybody to be an attorney. We don't need everybody to be, these jobs that are usually looked at as, these are the jobs that you need to have. And a lot of people don't even like jobs. A lot of people don't even like having a job, having to report to a boss, having to be told when to show up, why to show up, and you don't like it, tough, deal with it. There's a lot of potential in real estate. You could really chart your own destiny and chart your own course. And you look at the scales of what it takes to get started in real estate compared to a lot of other careers. And, the thing that gets me the most are even, more entry-level jobs that, because the job market is so competitive, that they'll even require a degree when it's not even really necessary to do the actual job. So we're going to run down what the real estate education requirements are, just in case you are, considering maybe, hey, I want to get a real estate license. And I also want to touch on the side of the potential. And then, maybe we'll throw some numbers up there. Some that might be, you go to school for this long, and then, what that might look like. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to speak too confidently on that because I know more about the real estate side of things. But if you want to learn about how much money it is you can make with real estate after maybe a 1-week course, or maybe 1 week's a little too fast for you, we've got night classes that go out all the way up to 8 weeks. We've got an on-demand self-paced course that you actually take up to a year to complete. We don't recommend dragging it out quite across a year because this information can be completed in just 1 week. We actually have in-person classes where you go through this course in 7 days. We have live stream courses, a little bit longer, an extra day, 8 days. You get through it just on a live stream without even having to come to us. We'll come to you. So if you're looking at starting a real estate career, it's something that the investment is so low compared to the investment for most other businesses, for most other careers, that it only makes sense just to give it a try if it's something that you are really interested in actually doing. The cost versus the reward that you have is ridiculous compared to a lot of other things out there. So that's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm really excited to share with you just some of the possibilities and potentials and kind of how you make money in real estate and how you can build your own business. So if that's something you're thinking about doing, something you're considering, maybe you are, one of our viewers. All you need is a high school diploma to get your real estate license. So you do need to at least get a high school diploma. But to get a real estate license, you don't need anything further than a high school diploma, and you could get a real estate license. So we're going to be talking about the requirements and what it takes to get a real estate license, and again, what that reward might look like from having a real estate license. So stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Chrismo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you uncover the technical side of the real estate industry. And so what we're talking about today is what it takes to get a real estate license. And so right before we roll our little intro there, we're talking about you need to have a high school diploma. So yes, you need to have at least that level of education. You got to make it to your high school graduation, because a lot of the stuff that you will be learning in your pre-licensing course to get your real estate license, to be able to comprehend a lot of that stuff, having a high school level education will definitely help with some of the more complicated topics that are in there. And overall, this course is not too complicated. It's really a memorization course more than anything, because there's an exam that you have to pass to get a real estate license. So in Florida, the requirement to get a real estate license, there is a relatively low burden on you to get a real estate license in Florida compared to a lot of other states. In Florida, the actual course itself, the pre-licensing course, it's a 63-hour course, but listen to this. The Florida Real Estate Commission doesn't even call an hour 60 minutes. They call it 50 minutes, and so it throws all the math into question. So point being, it's less than 63 hours to complete the course that's required to get your real estate license. Less than 63 actual hours. We're not talking about like college credits or whatever scheme it is that they have there that turns things around and you get like 3 credit hours after you've gone through like 9 weeks of classes, and you're like, well, I've been here a lot longer than 3 hours on top of the time I've been at home, so why are they only saying I've worked only 3 hours on this? Whereas in your real estate education, it is a little bit different, because again, it's actually less hours than the quoted hours of 63 hours, because again, the FREC wants 10 minutes every hour for a break, essentially, or not counting those 10 minutes. So what that ultimately does is the whole way it's set up, this whole licensing process to get your real estate license, you will probably have to do some studying. For most people, you will need to study to be able to pass this exam. Now, is that hard to do? No, it's not. You just need to do it. You need to find the time to do it, and you need to do it. Now, for some of you, you might have a mind like a sponge, and you're like some sort of like savant, genius, miracle. Maybe you don't need to study. But if that's not you, this is a course that you'll need to study for, most likely. And that's why all you need is a high school level of education. You could probably pass this course without technically even having a high school level education, but the thing is, the Florida Real Estate Commission requires that as a requirement to get a real estate license. And if you've got at least a high school level of education, well, not only are you eligible, but you're considered equipped to be able to handle this information here. You should be more than good here, because again, this is not too complicated, but it is a lot of information to actually remember. And we do our best in the courses to try to teach it in the most memorable, engaging way, but then there's a lot of things, again, that you've got to do as well as the learner. Again, you might be that miracle person that can, just absorb information, and I thought I was that person until I went to go take this exam. I took a practice exam before I took my real estate exam to get my real estate license, because, I would always just, I would be able to absorb information and be like, oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. And I would be able to take away info. And for the most part, I'd usually do pretty well on tests and whatnot through school, even through college. And I went through that career path, go to school, get a good job. And I did that for about 5 years after going to school for 5 years. And it wasn't everything I thought it was going to be. So I've lived that firsthand, so I know where you're coming from. If you guys have already gone through the whole, go get a degree, go to school and everything like that. And, I try to always find the best in everything, so I'm here, saying, well, I don't regret it. But honestly, if I were to do things differently, knowing what I know now, there's so much more that I've learned since graduating. And that's, again, one of the biggest shams that they have, calling it graduation, like you've completed something, like you're done. You're never done learning. Training isn't something you did, it's something that you do. You don't go to the gym once and graduate the gym. That just sounds ridiculous. But your mind is just another muscle like every other muscle in your body. So just like you take your body to the gym to keep your body in shape, you got to take your mind to the gym to keep your mind in shape. And that's going to be important in real estate. If you want to be at the top of your game in real estate, that initial pre-licensing course, that'll allow you to get your real estate license, but don't get it confused. That course gets you a real estate license, but that's what it's teaching you, is how to get a license, not how to build a successful real estate business. And then that's where our post-licensing course comes in, which is another requirement. You're required to get post-licensing done by the Florida Real Estate Commission, and that's what actually now teaches more of the topics about building a business. But again, it's not going to teach you everything. Just because you've completed the post-licensing course doesn't mean you know everything there is to know about real estate. Maybe you go get a broker license. I have a broker license in addition to my instructor license. I don't know everything there is to know in real estate. Me having a broker license isn't it. That's not it. That's not the end. And the law even says it's never the end, because the law, although it's not a major requirement, if this is all you do, then that's the bare minimum that everybody else is required to do. But what the law requires is every 2 years you have to do at least 14 hours of continuing education. And why does the Florida Real Estate Commission require that? Because they want you to stay up to date on laws and rules. And it's also important to constantly grow your business, to constantly develop yourself. Because you are the tool. You are the tool, and the better of a tool you become, the more capable you are, the more it is that you can do. So you want to have more capability, but there's things that need to be understood in order to take on new opportunities. There might be opportunities right under your nose that you might not even realize are there. So, yes, getting started in real estate, it's a very low burden. A couple $100 to get a pre-licensing course and get your application and get your exam. Now, joining the Association of Realtors, if you do join a broker who's a member of the Association of Realtors, that is a larger expense, but they're also really big on training as well. The Association of Realtors, one of the things, and this is something that's been more of an emphasis of them lately, which is good. I'm glad to see that, is they are putting more of an emphasis on training and education, because they know in order to be a professional, you need to be a professional. And really, you think about that word professional, you think of somebody and what you would call a professional. What do you think of when somebody says that they're a professional? Well, for me, it's okay, well, if you're a professional, you should know what you're doing. Meaning, if I ask you a question, you'll have a good answer. Maybe it's not the final answer, but you at least maybe know where to go to find that answer. Or maybe you do have the answer, because it is a very routine question, and you are a professional, so you can handle those routine questions with grace. But if you have not had any experience doing, maybe you've only worked with buyers. Let's say you've only worked with buyers, and you've never worked with sellers. Are you going to be good at working with sellers? Will you even know how to work with a seller? Will you even be able to seize that opportunity when it's right there under your nose? Maybe not. And so again, that's what's really more so important in real estate education is, and I don't want to use the term continuing education, because that little 14-hour course, that's a requirement. That's not like you're doing anything extra or special. That's just something you got to do. So don't act like that continuing education is turning you into a multi-million-dollar top producer. It might be part of that equation, but it is just a requirement. These are not significant courses. These little couple-hour continuing education courses here and there. But now, what are the additional things it is that you're maybe learning about? Well, initially when you first get started, again, the perfect example of this is when you get your real estate license. The whole purpose of that course is studying the information that's important for your exam, which is going to be a lot of laws, a lot of rules, a lot of things that you can and cannot do, that you basically have to be able to prove to the Florida Real Estate Commission that you have a minimal competence of the information that they deem important. So important that they required it to be taught in the pre-licensing course. So if you're able to pass that exam, it doesn't mean that you're going to be great at real estate. Now, if you pass it on your first try, that is a good indicator of success, as well as if you have perseverance and you keep taking it until you eventually pass, that's also a great indicator of success. So wait, John, you're telling me that a great indicator of success is either, passing it right away. Why is that a great indicator of success if you just pass it right away? Well, because that says that you put in the work that was required. And maybe if you don't pass it on your first try, that doesn't mean you're not going to be successful in real estate, but maybe no one told you that you need to study. You ask any of our instructors here at Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've got some really great instructors, but no matter how good the instructor is, it's almost impossible to pass this exam without doing some review and studying on your own. Again, unless you're like that miracle photographic memory type of person, then I wish I had your brain. But for the rest of us out there that do have to study to make sure we remember this stuff, I didn't think I had to. But again, when I went to go take my real estate exam, everybody kept telling me it was so difficult. I was like, I don't need to study. But I took a practice exam and I was like, oh crap, I guess I do need to study. And that's something I recommend you do for anyone that is going through that licensing process now or thinking about that. That's a very important part. And that's why we've got our pass first try strategy there. But that's a perfect example of real estate education. Now that's optional education. Our pass first try study tools are not required to get your real estate license. All you need to get your real estate license is take the pre-licensing course. And there's so many things in your real estate career that will be optional. As a matter of fact, the whole thing is optional. You even practicing real estate, that's optional. What broker you join, that's optional. That you get to choose which broker it is that you join, as long as they're willing to have you, which most brokers usually will, unless you do something to majorly concern them and turn them off or something like that. But aside from that, most brokers would be interested in forming a relationship with you. So there's all of these opportunities that are out there, but until that exam is passed, none of that matters. So we saw that as a problem because, before we came out with the pass first try strategy and, we're just trying to, do our thing here to help people pass their exam, what we realized there was a lot we do on a regular basis to help people pass their exam. And going back into our own experiences of when we all passed our exams, and there's multiple instructors that help formulate this pass first try strategy and as well as the study tools that go along with it. But again, it is optional, but it's there to make your life easier. It's there to take time out of the equation. Can you pass this exam without any exam prep tools? Absolutely. You probably have to study, but your course probably comes with a textbook unless you're doing our self-paced on-demand course, which the online course essentially is. There's all kinds of PDFs and whatnot you could download. So you could go through and review all those things, and the information is there. However, there's a lot of extra information that is required to be taught by the Florida Real Estate Commission in order for this course to count for credit. Now, we know at Tampa School of Real Estate that certain topics are far more important on the exam than others. So again, comparing to traditional education, just getting back to what this show is all about today, I remember going to school and having teachers that laughed when you wouldn't do well on an exam. Maybe you've had that experience as well, where you've had teachers that don't really seem to care about whether or not you're successful. As a matter of fact, they seem to get joy out of you not being successful. What a twisted world we live in. But anyways, that's not how we are here at Tampa School of Real Estate. You might have encountered that with traditional education, but that is not something, we have a zero tolerance policy for anything like that because we believe in you. That's actually one of our core values here at the Tampa School of Real Estate, is to believe in the capability of our students, because we know real estate is what you make of it. But it is exactly that. It is what you make of it. So you can take whatever level of urgency, of whatever level of potential, how much you want to take on. If you're wanting to do this maybe part-time, full-time, it is what you make of it. And again, getting back to those choices that you're making, yes, you can do it just off of the course. However, if you want to make it easier, if you want to take time out of the equation, invest in that optional thing that not everybody does. And that's, again, our pass first try strategy. We bundle these study tools together because they're actually almost as expensive as the entire bundle on their own when you just buy them individually, but we give you such a significant discount when you purchase these together because we know the tools work very well together. And we want to incentivize you to get access to all of the tools because they work so well hand in hand. And ultimately, we're just trying to help you pass your real estate exam. And that's what this is here to do. It's here to make that easy. And then just like your post-licensing. Now, post-licensing is a requirement. However, it's not a requirement that you take it right away. However, we do recommend that. Again, taking action, taking the next steps as quickly as possible to take time out of the equation and get your business off the ground as quickly as possible. We want you on the fast track. You could go take the course, pass your exam, take your post-licensing, and have that entire requirement knocked out so you don't have any renewal requirement to do for a whole 2 years, and you've already got your real estate license. And then if that's how you're starting a real estate career, with that springboard there, everything that you do at your brokerage for training, as well as at the Association of Realtors for training or anything like that, they're all expecting you to already have that base level knowledge that you'd learn in your post-licensing course. And if you don't have that base level knowledge yet, you have a very basic understanding, again, of the laws and rules that are very important to real estate, but when it comes down to how real estate is actually, how business is not just done, but how your business is built in real estate, that's more what you're learning from the post-licensing course. And taking that course, again, will make everything much more relevant for any trainings that you do out there actually in the real world, whether the broker sales trainings you might be doing, the Association of Realtors, there's going to be all kinds of onboarding trainings that you're doing, from how to use the MLS system to search for properties and see what cooperating commissions are, to how to upload your own listings in there even, and all kinds of compliance things regarding that as well. Ethics courses they have you do with the Association of Realtors, and all kinds of things that are going to be, again, more beneficial when you have a better idea of what real estate really is. Now, again, going back to real estate education, if you want to make the most of it, and if you think of the investment, I mean, we're talking a couple $100s here and there for all these different courses, versus tens of thousands of dollars people pay per semester to go to some fancy school that's got a big fancy name. It's got all these people that are like, oh yes, that is a fancy, nice school. And hey, look, I went to one of those schools. It was a state school, so it wasn't that fancy, but I see why it's so expensive. They're very nice buildings. They're the professors there that have very easy jobs are paid very well. It's very clear why that's an expensive place. And maybe if I were on a career path that more so required those higher levels of education paths that they provided, maybe I would have had a better return on my investment. But, even the marketing stuff that I was studying, that I did learn a lot from. There's so much more that I've learned after this. And again, that's why, even graduating, you're never really graduating. Learning is a lifelong thing. And that is something that will pay you dividends forever in real estate, is the more it is that you know. I don't want to sound corny, but the more you learn, the more you earn. That might not be so true going to some school with a U at the beginning, or some sort of university or something like that. You might not always make more money from taking some sort of class there. I don't know if taking some sort of art history or philosophy or religion class or anything like that is going to contribute to you financially. It might be interesting. Don't get me wrong. I love watching the History Channel, but I don't know if I want to pay $40,000 a year to watch the History Channel. I could get it, I think, for like $5 a month on Apple TV or something like that. So the world is very different now than what it once was when a lot of these, big name schools came about. Now, again, maybe you're going to be a doctor, maybe you're going to be some sort of attorney or whatever, because I am ignorant to a lot of these professions that probably do have very, very strong high-level courses there, and I'm sure that's where that's valuable. But if ultimately your goal is you want to make a good living, if you want a job that has a career to build a business, essentially, that has unlimited potential, that the sky is the limit, where literally, again, the more you learn, the more it is that you earn, because you find these new opportunities and new ways to make money, well, talk to us about a career in real estate. We've got advisors standing by, 813-333-2676, to answer any questions you have. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but stick with us. We'll be right back. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam, because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. And welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Chrismo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we're here, we're live to help you understand the technical side of the real estate industry. And what we've been talking about today is the career path, the education path more so, of a real estate professional versus the more traditional, college, university, whatever you want to call it, type of career path. And real estate, and here's the thing that also baffles me as well. So this might be, and this maybe is what kids are told when they say they want a career in real estate. I don't ever remember any of my friends saying they wanted a career in real estate or anything of the sort when I was a kid, but yeah, no, maybe I just got a bad memory. Who knows? So we'll get back on those lobbying efforts of teaching kids about how great real estate is. But anyways, getting back to it, you could get a degree in real estate. That is something that is available out there if you really do want to go to a 4-year school and get some sort of university college degree. And I'm not going to quote on what the prices are for that. I'm sure you could look those up at a lot of these places there. What I can guarantee you, though, pretty much, is that any sort of 4-year degree, 4-year program is going to cost significantly more than a 1-week pre-licensing course. Now, I should elaborate further, actually. So if you actually have a 4-year degree specifically in real estate, and there actually are some schools out there that offer degrees in real estate, not many of them, but there are some that do. If you do have a degree in real estate that's recognized by the Florida Real Estate Commission, then the Florida Real Estate Commission, the DBPR, they basically waive all of your courses except for continuing education. Now, you still need to pass your exam, and get this. So I've had people in our classes before that have real estate degrees, that have 4-year degrees in real estate. And so, of course, I asked them, what are you doing here? And it's like, yeah, I don't know what's going to be on this exam. I have no idea how I'm going to pass it. Well, what did you learn in those 4 years of going to real estate school or going to real estate college or whatever, getting a real estate degree? Ultimately, again, you are exempt from pre-licensing, post-licensing, as well as broker pre-licensing and broker post-licensing. But the thing is, these courses could all be taken in a couple weeks. They don't need to be taken across 4 years. And so, for however many tens of thousands of dollars that might cost per semester or whatever it is to get a degree in real estate, you could get started with the exact same thing and actually start making money right away after a few $100s of taking the pre-licensing course and getting your license. And yes, you'd still have the same cost. So really the only difference, as opposed to if you had a real estate degree, if you had a 4-year degree in real estate, is you wouldn't have to take the pre-licensing course to get started. But you'd still have to do your application, you'd still have to do your fingerprints, you still have to pass your state exam. And like I said, I've had students in my class that have 4-year real estate degrees. So they were back to say, all right, well, I just want to focus on what I need to know for the exam. I was like, okay, great. Well, let's get you through this. Let's get you passed, because you should have no problem with this. You've already been going to school for 4 years. You've got a big head start on most of the other students here. So, and look, this exam is not that difficult, but it'll seem impossible if you've gone through 4 years of education on real estate. If your goal ultimately is to pass this exam, 4 years of real estate education is going to make this exam so much more difficult than it really is, because that exam is not designed for people that have real estate degrees. It's going to seem remedial, probably, if you really do remember everything that you learned across those 4 years of going to school for a real estate degree. Because, again, you're learning everything that they even deem appropriate and important for broker as well as post-licensing courses. So there's a lot that you're learning, as well as, I'm sure, a lot of other stuff that doesn't have anything to do with real estate that you've got to do because that's how their system works if you want one of their fancy 4-year degrees. I digress. But again, going back to the course you'd have to take, I mean, again, 7 days, 8 days, 8 weeks, 4 weeks. We've got all kinds of different formats and schedules, but you can get this done as quickly as a week. And you could get started. Will you know everything there is to know about real estate? Absolutely not. But you're actually able to get a license so you could go out and start earning money, and then you could learn as you earn, instead of learning for God knows how many years and then going to try to earn. Because if you're trying to take full-time college classes, that's part of the reason why it took me 5 years to go through school as opposed to 4 years, is I was working full-time while I was going to school. That was really tough to do, even with kind of making it a little bit more part-time. Whereas in real estate, because you're not required to go through all this extraness and all this other stuff that isn't relevant, and not even the Florida Real Estate Commission even deems it relevant. If the Florida Real Estate Commission deemed it that relevant, they would require you to do that to get a real estate license, but they don't. They do, however, require a pre-licensing course. And that's that same course I keep telling you about. You get that done as quickly as a week. We've got an on-demand, self-paced online program. We've got instructor-led live streams as well as classroom locations throughout the Tampa Bay area. And this course is not that difficult. It's a lot of information very quickly, but here's the thing. You don't need to know all the information, but you will need to study. And you'll want to study that information is the most important. And we already give you highlighted sections. We've got flashcards. There's a whole set of digital materials that we include right with our courses. But if you want even more that hones in directly and specifically, and again, these tools are not just, it's not just a paper little practice exam. These are interactive tools, videos, audio reviews, all kinds of things that we've got built into this Pass First Try Strategy exam prep bundle there that are all designed to make them easy, to make this whole process easier. Is it required? Absolutely not. You could pass your exam without that. This is just there to help make that easier. And then again, once you've got your real estate license, don't wait to take your post-licensing. If you wait to take your post-licensing, I promise you'll kick yourself. I did that. I kicked myself because when I got my real estate license, I didn't know everything I know now. Had I did, I would have took that post-licensing course right away because I struggled at first when I got my license. You want to know why I struggled? I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have anybody telling me what to do. I didn't have anybody showing me what to do. Me starting in real estate was me showing up at an office and, watching the other agents trying to figure out how everybody's making money here. And come to find out the people hanging out at the office, when they're hanging out at the office, they're not really making any money. Money isn't made in an office. Money is made out in the homes that you're showing or in the seller's homes that you'll be listing. Not in the office. So I got really good at the little putt-putt golf thing, throwing the football around, talking about politics, and all the, office stuff that if you just do the bare minimum, you're not going to know what to do. So what would I have done in hindsight? I would have went and took my post-licensing course immediately. After taking my post-licensing course, I might not even have chosen the same broker that I started with, but that's neither here nor there. I eventually figured it out there and got stuff going. It just took me longer than in hindsight I think it should have. But there's a lot to factor in when you're starting a real estate career. And there's a lot of things, don't get me wrong, there were my own problems, my own fault, and my own reasons why I didn't start right away. Again, specifically getting back to not doing this post-licensing course right away, among many other things along that same lines of, I don't need that. I thought I was done. I thought I had graduated. You know what? That's really what it is. Me passing my exam and getting my license, I thought I graduated. I thought that was it. Now, in hindsight, I know that's not the case anymore. And it actually changed when a sales trainer, this little guy came into our office and he was bouncing all around. I had this great little pitch and he shared all kinds of insightful stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I've been having a really hard time with this. So let me just whip out, can you split this onto like 2 credit cards so I could buy this $1,200 90-day sales training boot camp type of thing? And so I did. And it taught me a lot of the fundamental aspects of real estate that I was never taught. But here's the thing. I went and took post-licensing. And one of two things happened. One of two things. When I eventually took post-licensing right before my renewal deadline, one of two things. Number one, it was either, wow, this is all the same stuff that I already learned in that boot camp sales training thing that was like $1,200, and post-licensing is not a $1,200 course. And then the other thing was, maybe there was more advanced topics, but they just went right over my head because I didn't even know these basics. And had I taken post-licensing, maybe I would have understood this at a deeper level. Maybe I would have took more away. Maybe I would have had a way better experience. And I know I would have been successful faster had I done that post-licensing course because there was so much I didn't know. That was the problem. Once I figured that out, then I was eventually able to figure out real estate. Once I figured out I didn't know everything, that I'm going to need somebody's help, and I was willing to pay for that help, that's when things started going for me. And that starts off, again, just with taking your post-licensing course. The post-licensing course, it covers business planning. It covers prospecting for listings. It covers presenting offers, preparing a CMA with the intention specifically around preparing a property to sell, pricing it to sell. That's very different than the appraisal basics that you learn in your pre-licensing course. You learn just how to make adjustments in pre-licensing, comparable better subtract, comparable inferior add, that thing. But then once you're now licensed, You don't need to know just the basics of how to come up with a number. You need to know how to price property to sell. And that's another topic that's covered in our post-licensing course. This won't teach you everything. You're not graduated from learning after post-licensing. Again, I figured that out eventually, because now I seek out new information. I try to find information that I could use. And what happens, you've got to go through a lot of bad information. There's a lot of stuff maybe that you already know. There's a lot of stuff that maybe you don't agree with that could be beneficial, and maybe you want to kind of think twice about that, but we could get really into a whole thing. But ultimately, you will have to put in the work to try to take in all this extra information. And usually the easier this is made for you, the more expensive that is. And that's usually just how any sort of sale business arrangement works typically. The more value that's usually provided, the more expensive that usually is. And the value here is making things easier, making things more streamlined, helping you get jump-started faster. And again, I use that post-licensing as an example because it's a requirement. You got to do it anyways. Just get it done early so you can actually take away the benefit of that course when you need it. It's designed for people who just passed their exam who need to learn the basics of real estate, and it's written for that. Meaning it's not going to use super complicated terms that you won't understand yet because it's basing your level of knowledge based off of what you already know. And what happens if you take it right before the deadline? You either just really haven't been doing much with real estate and you're like, oh wow, this is all great information, or you're like, oh, this is all remedial because I've already learned this either through experience or some hard way that I've already figured this out. But you still got to do the course anyways. So rather than, falling over on yourself and messing up and learning these lessons the hard and expensive way, try to do the training. And you'll never know everything, so you'll still have those hard, expensive lessons. But the more training that you do, the more prepared, the more professional it is you become, the less you'll be caught off guard. The more knowledgeable it is that you'll be, and the more opportunities you'll be able to seize, because you'll know how to appropriately handle multitudes of things. But you won't figure that out on your own. I didn't. I had to learn that the hard way, and that was a lesson that cost me very dearly, especially considering that I went right away into advertising for leads because I was like, I just need to go get some leads. I don't need training. I don't need anybody telling me what to do. I just need leads. Guess how well I was at working those leads when I didn't have any training on how to work leads or even what I was going to do with these leads once I got them to agree to meet with me or see a house or something like that, because I had no idea really what I was doing. And so that was a quick snowball of a whole burning mess of things. And then again, once I started to do some of this training and started to figure out what needs to be done and what are the basic fundamentals of building a real estate business, that's when I started to become successful in real estate. So that's what we're here to do, to tell you today, is don't wait to take that post-licensing course. Unless you want to delay the level of success that you can achieve in real estate, take the post-licensing course as soon as you can. Get it knocked out because again, it's a designed to be a fundamental course. It's designed for right after you've done pre-licensing because you're not ready to learn the more advanced stuff yet until you've got a better handle on the basics of real estate. So get that course knocked out right away. If you're not sure about what broker it is that you want to join, taking that post-licensing course will help you get a better handle on real estate. It'll help you write your own business plan so you can find which broker is going to be the best fit for you. It'll cover, again, a lot of these topics in a very basic, very fundamental way, but now when you go deeper on these topics with your broker, with the association of realtors, with wherever it is you're getting training from, there's tons of trainers and coaches out there as well. There's tons of books written on real estate. There's audiobooks. There's tons of things on YouTube. But here's the other thing I would say with all that as well. We live in the disinformation age now. We no longer live in the information age. We live in the disinformation age because there's so much contradictory information that's out there. And here's the thing about real estate. There can be contradictory information that is both correct in their own way. And so what it comes down to a lot more now is curation. There's almost no more original ideas out there, so it's a matter of, okay, well, what really does work? You go on Google, you could find basically anything, one that says this and one that says this. And then you're trying to figure out how to build your real estate business. And so, again, this is where it comes down to getting the information from the best source. When you're first licensed, and you just got your real estate license and you need to learn the basics about what to do with real estate, don't go on YouTube. Don't just go on anything that might teach you things that are illegal, that don't work in Florida, that might be unethical, because there's no filter, there's no approval, there's no anything like that for the things that go on YouTube. Maybe something gets flagged and eventually gets taken down, but there's some pretty crazy stuff on YouTube if you get out there looking. And here I am on YouTube here. But if you're new, if you've never heard of Tampa School of Real Estate, I would expect you to be skeptical of the things it is that I'm saying here. Because if you don't know our background and what it is that we've done, then how do you know that our information is qualifiable? But then maybe you do some research, you see thousands of reviews and all that other good stuff and all the people it is that we helped, and okay, this is a credible source of information. And so that's what's going to be really important as you take on additional information with your real estate career, is getting that information from the right source. Because there's, again, a lot of contradictory theories that are out there, and some that are very well aligned with growing a large real estate business, whereas some other ones might be more for people that are, practicing real estate more as a hobby. Because there are people that practice real estate essentially as a hobby. And I don't say that to sound mean or anything like that, but what I mean is that they kind of just do it on the side. It's something that they do, but it's not something they build a business out of. Because if you want to ultimately build a business out of it, you got to treat it like a business. And if you're not willing to train and develop and grow yourself, you're not going to be able to grow and develop your business. Which, again, maybe you just want to make some extra money on the side, and that's an entirely different career path that you could take, starting off with that same, again, getting your real estate license. Real estate is what you make of it, whether you just want to do it part-time or you're trying to build a top-producing real estate team. It is what you make of it. Either option is available to you, and all that is legally required is getting a real estate license. So if you've got questions about the licensing process, maybe you're trying to get your license and you need to pass your exam, you need some help with that, or maybe you just got your license and you're curious about this post-licensing course and how that can help you grow your real estate business, or maybe you want to get your broker license. We've got broker courses coming up as well. Give us a call, 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. You can also check us out online at tampaschool.com. Again, that's tampaschool.com. Or call us, 813-333-2676. That's about all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Have you completed your post-licensing education yet? Look, I know you're probably thinking, hey, it's not my renewal deadline, I don't need to do post-licensing yet, but look, here's why you want to do post-licensing as soon as you've got your real estate license, as soon as you're able to take post-licensing. It's not just another course about arbitrary laws that you're never going to use again. It's about real-world, usable topics that'll help you grow your real estate business, to help you take it to the next level. Look, let me ask you this one question. If this course helps you close just one deal, if you get one extra deal from post-licensing, is it worth the investment? I'd say it is. We get paid pretty well, so one deal means a lot of money. Check out postflorida.com. That's postflorida.com for the full details about post-licensing. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.